seconds and counting.
Hey, what's good, yo? Welcome back to another video. It's Anish, I'm joined with Roman, and today we're going to be talking about the NFL draft, of course. It's the biggest event for us upcoming, and so it's coming up in 12 more days. And so since we're 2 weeks away, we just wanted to talk about the draft. Give hot takes, draft hot takes, or unpopular opinions, just thoughts heading up to the draft. Do we have any draft crushes? And what would be our worst case scenario mock draft? So we'll have that for you in this podcast. And so yeah, Roman, what are your general thoughts heading up to the draft? Anything you're worried about or feeling coming up?
Yeah, 12 more days to go. I'm super excited. It's been a while since we've had like a premier pick, especially a top 5 pick, and especially like a first rounder. And this year we have 2 first rounders. That's something to be very, very excited about. As a rebuilding team, just excited to get new faces on here. Excited to hopefully draft a couple of franchise type of guys that we can build around. But a couple of worries that I do have is that Nick Caserio, nothing like we haven't really seen, I guess, his true drafting identity, because in New England he didn't get most of the say or all of the say at least, and then last year he didn't have like any, I guess, premier picks. This is gonna be the first year that we actually see him have like a big type of, I guess, like a draft that actually really matters. Because if he messes up like this draft, it could put us not, I guess, behind in the rebuild, but it can slow the rebuild down. Like for example, if we get a couple of guys that aren't what we expect them to be, especially with a top 3 pick, because who's to say we're gonna have a top 3 pick next year? What if we kind of overplay ourselves to end up like a pick number 8 or pick number 9, and we miss out some of the top talent at the top, whether it be a defensive end or like a linebacker or something like that. But that's just one of my worries. If Nick kind of like messes up on some of the first few picks, like especially at number 3, like at number 3, I mean, it's kind of hard not to miss. Like you really can't go wrong with anything at 3 unless you go something wild and take like, I don't know, George Karlaftis or something wild like that. Like you're really not gonna miss nothing at 3. But yeah, just a couple of thoughts.
Yeah, I feel the same. Super excited. We will be streaming the draft on the channel, so be sure to stay tuned for that. It's going to be super exciting to see y'all give your thoughts, the anticipation. It was pretty fun last year, even though we didn't have like a first or second round. So hopefully it's even better this time. And so I just wanted to ask you, what are your hot takes, your draft hot takes? There's been a lot of like divisive opinions thrown here and there. There's a lot of like uncertainty in this draft. I feel like there's no clear cut like who should be the number 1 pick, for example. And so, what are your draft hot takes?
Yeah, so I have a couple. One of my draft hot takes is that a lot of people are kind of I guess falling to the point that the Texans are going to draft Sauce Gardner, or at least it's looking like that with Lovie Smith's recent comments. Kayvon Thibodeau kind of falling a little bit. Trayvon Walker probably going in the top 2. And then Akeem Ekwonu, I mean, obviously we could take him, but I don't personally think the Texans are going to take an offensive lineman at 3, whether it be Neal or Ekwonu. But my number 3, one of my hot takes is Sauce Gardner wouldn't be a reach at all, number 3. Part of the fan base, I mean, I guess it's not really too much of a hot take because a lot of the fan base really wants him. But then there's a part of the fan base that I kind of think that Sauce is it's like a kind of like a reach there. But personally, I really don't think so. If Aiden is gone, which he likely will be, like 99% will be. Trayvon Walker's gone. He's been talked about as like one of the, I guess, highest potential type of guys in the draft. Then Sauce Gardner definitely is BPA, at least for the Texans. Evan Neal at that point, he would probably be BPA like for most teams. But since we really don't need a tackle, in my opinion, it's Sauce Gardner. Not every day do you see a 6'3" corner, 200 pounds, run a 4.41 40. That's almost a 4.3, and like most corners don't even run that now. To be 6'1", or no, 6'3" actually, that's pretty insane. But another hot take would be, it would be amazing if we go DB with the first 2 picks. I mean, would I be a fan of it? Like personally, I don't think I wouldn't be like for it. Like that's not my first option. But I would be a fan of it if we do end up taking 2 DBs, just 3 and 13. Coming out of New England, of course, they like to build their secondary. They like to build their defense front or back end to the front. So that would be perfect for us. Imagine we come out of the draft in the first round with 2 players, either being Kyle Hamilton, Sauce Gardner, or Derek Stingley, or maybe even Andrew Booth. imagine coming out of the first round with two of those type of. I feel like that would be pretty incredible. A pretty incredible start to building up this team by Nick Casario.
Yeah, I think for me, as far as my hot take, it's kind of opposite of yours, in which I think Nick Casario might surprise everyone and take possibly two offensive players with 3 and 13, or at least his first two picks or first three picks. Feel like he's gonna go mainly offense, like trying to surprise everyone. And honestly, this is just like kind of more of a prediction, like a hot prediction, like a bold prediction, more so than a hot take. But it's just like we saw it last year where Nick Casario, we thought he was going to go defense, and then he drafted Davis Mills, which surprised everyone. And then he traded up to get Nico Collins, and then he got Brevin Jordan, and so he got three offensive players back to back to back, and so I feel like similarly he could do something like that. The reason why is I personally view our inside O line as the biggest positional weakness on this team. And then we saw Pep Hamilton say like, "Oh, we need O line to be successful," and it's just I don't know. I just feel like there's a good chance that the Texans could go offensive lineman at three. Oh, I think it could be Ikem because when you watch him play at guard, he's an absolute mauler. Like he's gonna improve our run game so much, and that's one of the core like beliefs that the Texans wanna core like goals that the Texans want to accomplish is like run the ball. So it's just like when I think about that, just like and Ikem, he also protects Davis Mills, and you want to give Davis the best chance to succeed. So going off of that, I would just say kind of like maybe we go Ikem Ekwonu at three. Obviously, if like say the Jets or not the Jets, sorry, the Giants wanna tackle, maybe they could trade up to jump the Jets or something like that. But I feel like Ikem could be the pick. And then at 13, I'm really intrigued by this wide receiver class. Like yes, there's a lot of depth, but I really want one of the top guys and. There's a lot of players like I'd be happy with any of the top three guys, top four. So I feel like he could go there. I feel like the Brandon Cooks extension, it could be just he might be gone after the 2 years. So like the new guy could be like someone to have just in case, and we could also use the help, like offensive wise. Like just as far as ranking goes, we were 28th in pass yards per game. We were and in terms of rush yards per game, we were dead last. We have 31st in rush touchdowns per game, 32nd in yards per rush. So I think since our offense was like pretty bad, I think our defense was rated slightly higher, not so much higher. But I think it was rated slightly higher. And Lovie Smith, obviously, he's more of a defensive coach. You could argue, yeah, Nick Casario could like very well draft defense to help Lovie Smith's defense, or you could also view the other way around. Lovie Smith's like, hey, I got the defense like for now, like kind of adjust the offense with these first two picks. So I could see it that way. Maybe hopefully I think Nick Casario really values versatility. So getting someone like Ecam and then someone like who could play multiple positions on the receiving side could be pretty valuable. So I think that's my bold prediction. Whether or not it happens, probably not. My predictions, you can never tell with the NFL draft. But that's my hot take. Sorry for the rant there, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So, do you have any like unpopular opinions you wanted to add?
Let's see. Unpopular opinions. Honestly, I don't think taking any offensive lineman at three is the move. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be mad at it. We definitely do need offensive line, especially like you said, guard is probably one of our weakest positions on the football team, and especially what Pep Hamilton said on the offensive side of the ball. Really can't do anything without an offensive line, and getting an offensive line would really help Davis Mills. But at three, I feel like, I mean, It can McGuanu or Evan Neal would both be super good picks there. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I feel like you could still get a top tier type of guy, especially a top tier interior offensive lineman, like maybe like at 37 or maybe even at 13. Like you want to trade back a little bit, like maybe trade back with maybe the Saints. Maybe the Saints want to move up for a wide receiver or something like that. We maybe take like a Kenyon Green or Zion Johnson, like at what did the Saints have? I think they're like 18, 16 or 18 or something like that. Maybe we do something like that, but I don't know. I just don't think offensive line at 3. Again, I wouldn't be mad at it, but I just don't think it's the best move for the Texans.
No, I feel you. Yeah, like there's a lot of good like guy like Kenyon Green, like you said, Zion Johnson, maybe even Linderbaum if the Texans go that way. It's just like will there be someone to trade up to? Maybe the Packers, maybe the Chiefs to kind of accommodate for losing their star wide receiver. Maybe that happens, and I would love to see that happen. But I just like if we are sticking at 3 and 13, I feel like he might just go with best player available. Because if he's not solid on like say Kayvon Thibodeau, he feels like Hamilton has a chance to fall to 13 or around that area. And so if you just look at best player available, who else do you have? Say if like Aiden Hutchinson goes one, obviously, and then like some other player. Like when you're looking at your draft board, and then you're drafting for the Houston Texans, like it's just hard to say like who they'll go with. So that's why I would think that O line could be very well in play for them. So yeah, but my unpopular opinion is that I wouldn't be super mad or pissed off if the with any Texans draft selection at 3 or 13. Sure, there's like where you like overdraft a guy like that's going to be like supposed to say like third round and he's drafted in the first round. If that happened, then I'd be mad. Yeah, but if it were like say a first round talent drafted to us a little bit higher than he would be, I wouldn't be super mad at it because I've learned that us fans, we don't honestly know what's gonna happen with these players in the NFL. So it's just like the transition, it's hard to predict. So I think like say if we went with Trayvon Walker, I'd probably be try to lean on the optimistic side. Yes, a lot of people didn't see him being drafted this high, but hey, if he has the athleticism to like he had one of the better like combines in NFL history. For a guy who has all those physical tools, you can't really teach that. And so you're kind of banking that he does learn how to pass rush, which is the main issue there. But he seems to be a good team player, has everything, all of those check boxes. It's just that he hasn't done much like for his position. He's a good run defender. It's just as far as pass rush, which is why you draft him that high. You like draft pass rushers that high. It just doesn't really make too much sense. But if it were to happen, I wouldn't be like going too crazy. I just like deal with it. And then say if the Texans like what's another unpopular player? Oh yeah, Evan Neal at 3. Like again, I wouldn't be completely mad at it. Say I don't know what happens with Tunsil or Titus, because it seems like Titus wants to stay a tackle. Tunsil is obviously a tackle. But you never know in this league, you know, because when you have Neal, who has been really, really good, like one of the better tackle prospects in we've seen. I think just adding that guy to your O line, wherever he may fit, it won't be the end of the world. Yeah, I personally don't think we should draft him, but if it does happen, like I wouldn't be mad at it. I don't know what happens if he is drafted here, because maybe the Texans have other plans. Because if the Texans do draft him, I feel like they might want to move on from Tunsil, but it doesn't really make too much sense because they restructured him and all that jazz. So it's just hard to say, but like the point is like I wouldn't be too mad at whoever we get at the first 2 picks because we do need talent wherever it is. And I trust Nick Caserio's evaluation more than mine. So that's where I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, and then especially going back to the Evan Neal thing. Let's not forget that Titus Howard and Laremy Tunsil, neither of them were really Nick Caserio's guys. Like Nick Caserio didn't go out and draft Titus Howard. That was I think 22, 23, and he didn't go out there and trade was 2 first-round picks, second or whatever it was for Laremy Tunsil. Like those weren't his moves. So maybe I mean, obviously they're both good tackles. They're both tackles in the NFL that could probably last for like a good, possibly 7 to 8 more years. But maybe he just wants to move on and get his own type of players, in which that case will be Evan Neal. But yeah, that's just another thing on Evan Neal if you were to draft him.
Yeah, and don't the I could be wrong, but don't the Patriots like Alabama guys or something? I don't know if I saw that, but like, do they
Um,
like I don't know like historically? I feel like it could be. I don't know if I'm making something up. Um,
then they draft Barmore.
oh yeah, they drafted
Yeah.
Barmore. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, obviously one player doesn't mean like historically, but like I feel like they do like their Bama guys, and Nick Caesar obviously came from New England. So I don't know if you still have those. Like he's more like he favors more Alabama guys since they come from one of the better programs, obviously coached by Nick Saban. So I don't know. But yeah, that is my unpopular opinion. So my question for you is, what would be your worst case scenario mock draft? I guess say maybe for the first 2 rounds or something like that.
So worst case scenario at number 3, I think it would be Evan Neal at number 3. Again, I just don't think we should go offensive line at number 3. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but if
Mhm.
there was worst case, I think it would be Evan Neal at 3.
Yeah.
And then at 13, I mean at 13 really can't go wrong. It's like almost towards the middle of the first round. Like it's either maybe like a guy like I don't know, maybe probably like a tackle again. I mean,
Oh yeah.
obviously we would have 3 tackles, but like I've seen a couple of mock drafts where at number 3 we go, say Trayvon Walker. There was one that Aaron Wilson put out actually recently.
Mm-hmm.
At number 3 we went Sauce. At number 13 we went, I think it was Charles Cross. So maybe something like that, like at 13 maybe if we went like a
Yeah.
tackle. I think that would be also a very bad thing because we already have 2 tackles. Like why get another one? But then at the same time it could be going back. And then Cassiari wants to get his
Mm-hmm.
own type of tackles. But yeah, probably like that. And at 37, I mean, again, you really can't go wrong with almost anything there. I don't know. Worst case
Yeah.
scenario could be like, I don't know. I can't.
Yeah, I can't. I guess like since we were drafting, so like since we're a rebuilding team, there can't really be much of a worst case scenario. But yeah, I would say I think I saw one that was like Walker at 3, at Trayvon Walker at 3, and then Charles Cross at 13. I think that's like the worst combination because like you don't get the best like edge rusher, you don't get the best tackle. Like at least with Evan Neal, you at least get the best tackle. And so I feel like that would be like the worst combo. I can't believe I've been seeing like Charles Cross to the Texans. Like I just doubt it happens, and like I said, like I don't know if Nick Cassero goes offensive lineman, but I feel like it could be in the cards possibly. But yeah, I think that would be I would say those two at least for the first round, and then second round, it would just probably be like overdrafting a guy or just addressing a position like that we already got in the first round, like doubling. The only thing I wouldn't be mad at would be like DB, like say we went with cornerback and then safety. Like I wouldn't mind that at all. But like if we were to double down on it, then it'd just be like on double down on something else, like 2 wide receivers, or something, or 2 O linemen. And that would probably be the worst case scenario, because we do want to try to at least address like multiple positions in the draft and early. So that's what I would say. I know it's kind of a hard question, but yeah. All right, and so lastly, what are your like draft crushes right now? Who are you hoping that the Texans draft in the next 12 days?
Yeah, I have quite a few guys. I'm gonna just list all of them first, and then like go back and give a little rundown. So first, George Pickens out of Georgia. Second, Jameson Williams out of Alabama. Third, Lewis Sine out of Georgia. Fourth, Kyer Elam out of Florida. Fifth, Kenyon Green out of Texas A&M. And then sixth, Sawyer out of Georgia. So I'm gonna go back to George Pickens. George Pickens, he's a 6'4" wide receiver. I know we already kind of have like a bigger type of wide receiver, Nico Collins. Nico Collins, what, like 6'2", 6'3" ish, and George Pickens is 6'4". But George Pickens, if he didn't have his ACL injury last year, I feel like he would have a legitimate shot at being a top 3 wide receiver in this class. I feel like he would be over like a Drake, like with the type of Drake London is getting right now. I feel like that would be George Pickens if he didn't get hurt. That big body wide receiver, that wide receiver that's very, very fluid. He can run pretty much almost any route. And George Pickens is probably way faster than Drake London. Drake London, we all know, is not the fastest of wide receivers. And George Pickens, compared to Drake London for their size, he has incredible speed. So George Pickens adding him to this offense, I feel like he'd be a complete game changer, a game wrecker. Like you can just throw it up to him anywhere, and he's gonna be able to go up and get it. And then having two of those type of guys, Nico Collins and George Pickens, with Cooks, being that speedier guy, like whether you want to run in the slot or whatever you want to do with Cooks. But I feel like he would be bring a whole new dynamic to this offense. And then, of course, Jameson Williams, we've talked about him in multiple videos. He's all over our Twitter feed. We're always posting about him. But he's personally my favorite player in the whole draft. I feel like if we draft him the first round and like draft Evan Neal at 3, I won't even care because we get Jameson. That's like my favorite. That's my favorite time in the whole draft. He would bring everything to this offense, a whole new dynamic. Earlier, Anish, you mentioned something about a wide receiver that can kind of play multiple positions. I guess more so like outside, inside. But Jameson Williams, he could also have the ability to run like jet sweeps. You can put him out the backfield, use him out the backfield at times. Of course, Jameson Williams, he's known for his rare stop and go ability. That stop and go, that stop and go speed, that's unheard of. His stop and go speed. Obviously, that ACL, I don't think it would have much to do with like, I guess, slowing him down in terms of like his speed or anything. I feel like the ACL is going to be able to recover. There's been reports that he's recovering very, very well. He should be good. But again, kind of similar to George Pickens, he would bring a whole new dynamic to the football team. Jameson Williams, he's 6'1". I think when he got to Alabama, it was obviously unofficial. It was an unofficial draft 40 time, but I think he ran like a 4.3, I think like a 4.36 or something like that. So he has all the speed in the world. He would be my absolute draft crush at 13. The next guy is Lewis Sine, out of Georgia. He's a safety. He's more of a hard-hitting safety. He's not a guy that can really – he's not bad in coverage, but you can put him back there. He can do his job. But he's mainly more for like – kind of like a box safety, I guess. You could put him in that 10 to 2. He can have his own zone or whatnot. But he's more of a box safety. Come down, make a tackle. On the running back, he can cover tight ends. He's well known for that hit on Kyle Pitts. That was a monster hit. Both got shaken up. Both were down for a while. Obviously, it was an illegal hit. It wasn't a good hit at all. But I mean, it just shows the type of power he has when he hits. And of course, he's more of a, I guess, like a legal tackler. He's not gonna come to the NFL making illegal hits and whatnot. He's a very disciplined player, but he can make a hit when needed. He can cause fumbles. And again, coverage isn't his best suit, but he can do his job. The next guy is Kaiir Elam out of Florida. I feel like he would probably be one of the better fits at cornerback for us if we don't go cornerback at 3 or 13. Maybe Kaiir Elam falls to 37. I highly doubt it. He's probably gonna go like late first, maybe to the Patriots, maybe to the Chiefs or something like that. Maybe we would have to trade up for him late into the first. But I feel like Kaiir Elam, he's probably one of our better fits. He would fit really well in a Lovie Smith type of scheme. He's not really primarily any type of, I guess, he's not scheme dependent. Like he doesn't have to be in a certain scheme to play to his level, I guess. I don't know. But he can play man, he can play zone. He has very good ball skills. One knock on him is his tackling. He's not the best of tacklers, but coming into the NFL as a cornerback, who really is a good tackler? Like, it's pretty rare to see. You don't see almost any good cornerbacks come into the league already being a good tackler. So, I mean, that's not really too much of a worry, but it's just a little knock on him. The next guy is Kenyon Green, offensive lineman. I'm just going to say offensive lineman because he can pretty much play anywhere on the offensive line. He can play tackle. He can play guard. He's played a little bit of center. He's one of my favorite offensive linemen in the draft, whether we get at 37 or 13. I feel like at 13 it would be a little bit of a reach, but you're definitely getting a 8-year type of starter at offensive line, probably way longer, 9, 10 years maybe. He can play all over the offensive line. Maybe say like Titus Howard gets hurt, put him at right tackle. Then Tunsil gets hurt, put him at left tackle. Whoever our right guard is, if he gets hurt, put him at right guard. Like, he's a guy that can play anywhere on the offense. And he's very un-scheme dependent. Like, you can put him like on any type of scheme and he can perform. The last guy is Sawyer out of Georgia. When I first learned about him, it was in the college playoffs when Georgia was playing Michigan, and Sawyer had the tough assignment of having to cover and block Aiden Hutchinson, who's probably going to go number 1 in this draft. And Sawyer held his own against Aiden Hutchinson. That's kind of like where I started growing a sense of, I guess, love for Sawyer. He would come in being probably our left guard, right guard. He's more of a tackle, I feel like, or at least played more tackle at Georgia, or at least when it mattered. But I mean, that's just my last guy. I feel like he could also be a very good interior offensive lineman for us for many years to come. But yeah, those are just some players that I guess, really like, or job presence for this team.
Nice. Yeah, you mentioned a lot of my favorite guys, and I would just start for me. I won't mention as many names, but I think I'm starting to really be down with Sauce Gardner at 3. Just like hearing his interviews, and just seems like very humble, very team oriented type of guy, and very talented. And it is a position of need too. Like we need. It's been so long since we've had a young talent at cornerback. So I'm starting to really fall in love with Sauce Gardner, and just like franchise wise, I think he'd be so good to have. So Sauce Gardner, I think, would be great for us. Some other guys, not maybe like really hoping that the Texans draft them, but some guys I've just liked watching. I've loved watching Treylon Burks. He's been absolutely amazing. He didn't perform well at the combine, but I feel like when you watch him play, he shows much more athleticism and things like that. Just I think he'll be a great player, and once again, like I mentioned, with versatility wise, he can play. He did a lot of things for Arkansas. He was like he played like in the slot, did a lot of jet sweeps, fullback. He also was like moved to the outside too. So I feel like he can do a lot of things, and you have Pep Hamilton as your defensive coordinator. So I feel like he can utilize Treylon Burks in a really good way. So I'm really high on Treylon Burks. Not a lot of people are not, but I just think like he plays with so much he can make a lot of contested catches. His size and speed are just like really good. So I really like him. And then Jordan Davis, another favorite of mine. I think he's like kind of a unicorn type of prospect, just like in terms of measurables, and he like moves really well for a big dude. So, and seeing that we're a team that's in a division with Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor. It's just like he's gonna fill a need, and obviously we have like Roy Lopez and Malik Collins, but I think he would be perfect for us. He's just able to take on so many blocks, and just like absolutely destroy guys. So I think I would love those two. Another guy in the later rounds is Leo Chanel for me. He just has a lot of competitiveness, toughness. He's like willing to tackle a lot, and he had one game where he had 3.5 sacks against Purdue, so that was pretty crazy. But I think he could be a great pick. Maybe I'm not sure where he would be drafted. Maybe like in the 3rd or 4th round or something like that. But I think he could be a player to watch. I know a lot of people are pretty high on him, so yeah, those are my 3 guys. Roman, you mentioned a lot of good guys too, so yeah, that's that. So that's pretty much it for the video. Let us know your thoughts on these players, what your thoughts are leading up to the draft. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Thank you all for watching. Peace.